where we left off on Tuesday, we have the report of committees. Jonathan Duran, would you come and talk to us about addresses and transportation?
Oh, no, here we are. But again, I'm Jonathan Duran, state of Arkansas. I've been serving for a while as one of the co-chairs on the Address and Transportation Committee. And one of our big accomplishments, I'll say, the last year is the formation of our, excuse me, of our steering group. And if you can see those names, obviously that's, there they are. I'd say an all-star cast on our steering group. I won't go through them one by one there, but just a broad range of expertise and experience and backgrounds, and you know, just a lot of really smart folks there. And then, and so our membership obviously is quite large because technically we're a combined committee. A few years ago, the Address Committee and the Transportation Committee were two different committees, and they were combined. Go ahead to the next slide. For our accomplishments of the last year, we've really been focusing on the National Address Database, and we had some successful advocacy, I guess I could say, with the FGDC Address Theme Subcommittee, and that whole discussion there that many of you were part of on the minimum or the recommended content for the National Address Database, and which standard it should really track with. And there was a lot of really good reasons that should track with the NINA standard, primarily because the contributors are really moving that direction. So it just made a lot of sense there. Next slide. And yes, that font there's kind of gotten small because, you know, we were sort of overachievers, I guess. And, you know, the request was for 3 goals. We come up with 4. So maybe we're the overachieving committee or something like that. You know, obviously we want to get more states into the National Address Database. You saw Steve's maps yesterday. We want that map green. That's the short answer. And that with the National Address Database, the hang up, I guess you could say, for a while now has just been the lack of dedicated funding. So we really want to push on that. Some things we're working toward to get some dedicated funding, because as Steve mentioned yesterday, he's kind of got this up and down of when he can work. You know, work till the funding he gets is gone, and then wait till he gets more and start over. So that's obviously not a good approach. And then I think I can see it better from up here. And then just to wrap that up, again, you could see Steve's excitement and what he was looking at or showing yesterday, but we really want to explore more of those things like that web service and those tools to really get the word out about the National Address Database and really develop that utility. And if anybody's got any questions, see me later. And lastly, I'll just mention that our committee meets on the even months on the 2nd Tuesday of each even month. And those are always at noon Eastern. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Jonathan. I believe we have Philip Henderson virtually, correct?
Yes, I am available virtually.
Awesome. Do you want to give us a report on the conference committee?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to say it's obvious to everybody that the NSGIC staff is, you know, those overachievers. They're doing an amazing job with this conference. Isn't it so great to actually have a hybrid conference this year? I had already had everything planned and was going to be with you in person. However, there were several extenuating circumstances beyond my control that has greatly limited my participation, not only at NSGIC, but actually here in Alabama. I am on the mends and in the right direction now. But I do want to say a great big thank you to the conference committee, the NSGIC staff, especially for, I think about all the work that went into reviewing the abstracts and the presentation run-throughs. Obviously, this conference has raised the bar yet again, and I think it's very appropriate when you think of innovation that occurs with NSGIC. It's no surprise. That's what we do. And I think in closing, please don't forget to fill out the post-conference surveys because we want to make these things better each and every year. So Jenna, that's what I have.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I would echo that. And I think everybody here knows that the work that goes into putting on an event like this is amazing. And there's details, like I said the other day, there's details that none of us want to think about. So thank God other people do. My gratitude to all of you who have made this very seamless and being able to include our virtual friends. Good. Richard, are you running even? That's awesome. Richard's going to talk to us about the Corporate Leadership Committee. Thank you.
Okay, over there's some slides I can look at so I can
Yeah.
remember what I wrote.
Here's your cheat sheet.
Okay, I'm good. Can you hear me here? Okay. Yeah, so the Corporate Leadership Committee, as a reminder, you know, and all the sponsors in the room need to listen up. The gold and platinum level sponsors are eligible to be members of the Corporate Leadership Committee. Okay. And so if you're at that level of sponsorship, you have a seat at this table. We need you to be there and working with us together to, you know, do the things we do. And really, this committee has suffered during the last year, but we have a lot of things going in the right way to get us moving again. Things like revising our charter. We've adopted a steering committee instead of the chair and co-chair. So now we have, you know, a handful of people who will be driving the committee instead of just dependent upon one person. So we're really just reinvigorating this committee. One of the things that the committee does too is by being on this committee, you can work with the GIO spotlights. So if you've never visited those on the website, go and review NSGIC.org/states, and there's GIO spotlights, but there's only like 5 of them done. And we obviously have many more GIOs than that, but it's a benefit to the members of this committee to be able to engage with a GIO one-on-one, conduct this interview, get some write-ups, and get this spotlight done and get it onto the website. So those are some things we'll be working on and continuing to make that easier, and hopefully we can get more spotlights done, and it helps, you know, the sponsor get to know these GIOs. It helps the GIOs have this public facing web page where they're a part of NSGIC and telling their stories. So okay, sorry, that's too far away. Okay, I can barely read that one too. All right, so that's where we are. And, you know, we need to go back and look a lot at our charter and look at what this committee can do, working with the board, working with the director and the leadership of NSGIC, and become more involved. We're supposed to be setting a lot of policy directions. We're supposed to be bringing things to the board and saying, you know, this is what we think as sponsors, where we should be driving some of the focus of NSGIC. And we also need to go back and look at things internally, like most importantly, the benefits, the point sponsorship model. You know, how is all that working? How is speed networking going? Is it too much? Is it not enough? What are some of the things that we can look at, the benefits the sponsors have, how we spend those points? And if you haven't reviewed, again, for all the sponsors, the document on the website has a lot of opportunities for spending points. And you know, we're not doing all of them. So there's some really neat opportunities for the sponsors to really continue to support the organization. And we hope to, you know, have some more meetings and get this reinvigorated and get this group moving again. And we'll keep going with it. Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate your service. That's important. And I think it's appropriate to thank all of our sponsors. We wouldn't be here without you. So it's, yeah, a round of applause, please. Yep. You are appreciated. So my understanding is that Shelby for the elections committee has a conflict, so he is not going to be here. I think you can all read. 3 accomplishments: successful administration. Oh, no, we're skipping. Okay. We've, this year, I'm going to skip all that and say something else instead. The lineup of nominees this year is stellar. It's amazing. And I am awed by the level of willingness and service and ideas. We are so fortunate. And obviously, we are also fortunate that some are not going to be on the board. That is not a detriment. I want to thank each and every one of you. I know some of you are virtual and some of you are in the room, for not only putting yourselves out there and being willing to contribute, but you've made the organization better just by your involvement and your acceptance of the nomination. So thank you very much. Shelby continues to work hard to make the process more impactful every year. So if anybody wants to volunteer, because Shelby's a busy guy, there's his contact. Mark, I think we were just for the finance committee. You all heard the treasurer's report. Mark, do you want to speak to this at all?
Yeah, I'll be quick. I just point to the treasurer's report that we did at the first business meeting. That really touched on where we are and both financially, but a lot of the activities that the finance committee is doing as well. So you can see some of the accomplishments here that I mentioned back then, and we get ready to do the 2022 budget coming up over the next month or so. So again, treasurer's report's out there, and that has a lot of the info in it that we went through on Tuesday.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, that's really important. Yeah, I think we'll just give everybody a chance to read it. And then next slide. Okay, so, some of this is off the, oh, Erin is here. Wonderful. Erin, do you want to talk to us about Geo Women?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So just talk to you briefly about the successes we've had in the efforts over the past year for Geo Women. You can read the list of our wonderful steering committee members. My partner in crime, Ms. Kimberly Denny, is not able to be with us virtually or in person, unfortunately. But we'll just go over some of the accomplishments that we've had. So we've conducted another virtual roundtable. We're really liking the format that we have in place and cannot wait to find new ideas for the roundtable. If you have not been a part of one of these, I highly suggest it. So this past one was the elevator pitch, basically trying to educate folks on how to conduct an elevator pitch. The the book club that was started this past year, we saw a lot of success with that, the Geo Women Book Club, and we've actually completed 2 books over the course of the past, I think 9 months. And then we shifted to a steering group model and finalized the work plan. So our goals for the upcoming year will be to continue to conduct virtual roundtables and book clubs, and then do another round of survey. If you remember, there was one that we had asked all folks to fill out a few years ago. Basically a refresh to get more information on what type of activities and topics the Geo Women would like to see in the future. And needed support, basically just continuing the support that the board has given us thus far for the Geo Women initiative. I can't remember if there's another slide. Wonderful. Thank you. So how you can get involved, basically become a member, attend one of our virtual roundtables, attend one of our workshops, share in the activity online, any kind of articles you may read or support for a woman in charge in coming up through leadership in your communities and your states. And or go to a Geo Women event at a conference. Brandon Palin told me that the Geo Women event at in Dallas was greatly attended. So appreciate that, everybody in the room. Thank you for attending the Geo Women event. I really wish I could be there. And I think that's about it. Thanks, Jenna.
Thanks, Erin. Okay. Do we have someone from the Geospatial Preparedness Committee on virtual or in the room? Anyone? Okay. I can read slides too. So this is one of the most important committees. I think you guys all know that. Oh, Richard, will you come? It's so good of you to do that.
Look, I'm going to bring my own computer so I can see now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so Geospatial Preparedness Committee also transitioned to a steering group model, which has been really great because there's just so many more hands available to take care of things, including making sure that, apparently we just missed getting someone here to brief this though. So the transition, one of the first things that they undertook right before we made that transition to the steering committee was to embark on imagery resources for emergency management. So there's been a really great group there and a lot of information exchanged on, how states can get aerial photographs after disasters. And that's been lots of good information and presentations going there. All of it's been recorded, so it's easy to go back and find the information later on. And we're coordinating our communication with Highfeld and trying to reinvigorate some of those connections back to Highfeld and their data models and the data they make available, before and after disasters. And there's a lot of opportunities with them there. I think we're going to work on some more and bring back as well. Is there another slide? Next. So the 3 goals were to complete a first iteration of GIS resources, begin working on other resources. We're doing the imagery one now, and then they're going to keep going on another list of what are the resources that can support GIS response for states. Integrate with the pandemic GIS task force. The pandemic task force took off and obviously did such a great job. How might some of those ideas and some of that progress be sustained with the Geospatial Preparedness Committee as well? For the support from board and membership, we just need continued support and feedback on initiatives. And yeah, everyone's able to join the meetings, present in the meetings, help with initiatives, and engage on my NSGIC to support Geospatial Preparedness Committee. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Richard. Oh, goodness. All right. Leland, are you up? Or Karen, or Tim. You could all 3 come. Thank you.
Yeah, silent Tim and quiet Karen always let me do the talking. So you could see the report here. It's a small group. We do a lot of good. We have, I would like to call them out, Felicia, who's always willing to dive in, and Shay, who always asks really good questions. Jenna, who's always willing to dive in. I think we have it down as NSGIC staff, but for me, they're not staff. They are Molly and Amy and Emily and Ashley, who never sit still. I would argue one of the big things of this conference has been people, from the open science talking about how they create space for their people to do good work, to Tony Specie talking about the importance of certification in your lives, to Natalie, Susan herding cats in Georgia to do good. That's what this committee is about. It's empowering the people of NSGIC so that you can go out and do good. and you're going to be hearing more from us. We do want to start looking into Jetty and continuing to have those discussions. So if you're interested in being with some really engaged people to help empower the members of the initiative to go out and do some good, please join us.
Thanks, Leland. I would have to add that the member resources working group is one.
Hi, in-person friends. We've lost audio on the Zoom.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, technical difficulties. That's okay. It's part of it. Okay, so next slide. Do we have someone online for Next Gen 911?
Hi, everyone. It's Michael Fashaway. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. The Next Gen Committee has a total of 71 members. We also recently transitioned to a steering group model. I'm one of the steering group members, along with Greg Bunce, Sandy Dyer, Ian Von Essen, Dan Ross, Joe Seawash, and Eric Shreve. In the past year, we've had some accomplishments, including publishing a best practices document based on the 2019 GMA. We had a couple members reach out and present to NASNA, an important group within the 911 world, trying to better tie our organizations together and build that relationship. We also have committee members who are actively involved in work groups. Some of them are listed right there. Also important to developing Next Gen according to standards. Next slide, please. Some goals for 2022. We also have 4 here. We're looking to develop some white papers or other products that just kind of will help educate stakeholders and advance state and local government best practices for transitioning to Next Gen. We're looking to host some state presentations as part of our regular committee meetings to promote knowledge sharing and best practices, basically what NSGIC is all about. We're going to continue to engage and coordinate with NASNA, NENA, and the other organizations that are involved in the 911 and GIS world. And lastly, just kind of follow and comment on any national policy and legislation, which, as many are aware, there's a lot going on in that arena right now. And I guess lastly, a plug, how you can support, get involved, attend meetings, volunteer for projects, etc. That's my report. Thank you.
I think I'm on. All right, Linda, you want to come and talk to us about 3DEP? And we are we have 3 minutes for the whole meeting.
For
So.
the whole meeting. Okay, let me get through this. Great work. Great work this year. I think some of our key accomplishments are we had a 3DEP gap analysis workshop that not only resulted in some great input participation by the states, but we'll be using the results of that to update the 3DEP planning guide. Hats off to Phil for development of the 3DEP and maintenance of the 3DEP information hub. And I'm muted. Well, I should be muted here. Never mind. Just the knowledge exchange. I think the states have expressed that's been their largest accomplishment, this ability to share information. Some goals, we want to engage those states that still have some 3DEP gaps. We need to do some outreach there. Again, we're going to update the planning guide with gap analysis information. And we're looking forward to the results of the 3D Nation study and how we communicate and share that information and build upon that information within the group. No specific support. We just appreciate the continued engagement of the board and membership. And you can participate by joining our My NSGIC communities. We have a state team, which is an active working team, and then we have an interest group for folks that just have a general interest in the topic and the activities. Can I go?
Yeah.
3DHP for the nation, some formerly known as elevation derived hydrography for the 3D national hydrography datasets. So we're glad for the shorter acronym. We hold a monthly forum. Please come join us. We are working on the derivation of critical factors affecting the derivation of hydrography from elevation data. Please join us tomorrow for our workshop. And we've just had great USGS and state engagement. There's been a great information exchange. Goals, we need to find these implementation actions and resource needs. We are publishing, Phil's working hard on the development of a 3D HP information hub, and we are going to continue the monthly forum. So those of you that have asked, is that going to go into our project year ends on Friday, and we were renewed for a second project year. Same issue. We appreciate the continuing engagement, and please join the communities at My NSGIC.
You are awesome. I'm not sure anybody could talk as fast as Linda just did. Thank you. Unfinished business. I have nothing for unfinished business. Anybody else? Now we've got 1 minute for the really best part, right? So yeah, we're going to go to new business, and we have one item. We have our election results. So again, I'd like to reiterate my thanks to all of you who were willing to come forward and volunteer your service. I appreciate it. Before I announce who won, we have 2 board members who are rolling off, who have made an incredible impact for NSGIC, and I am so grateful for your involvement. Tim, thank you. Neil, I know you're in the room somewhere. I can't see you. Thank you very much for your service. Yeah. All right, drum roll. So, and the results are for president-elect. I am very pleased to announce that it is Jonathan Duran from Arkansas. For the board of directors, Mr. Ken Nelson from Kansas. Congratulations. The lovely Leslie Jones from Alaska. And John Watermullen from Nebraska. Congratulations to all of you. I'm excited to have you be part of our team, and now we hit the ground running. So yeah, and I guess this is a good time. We have a board meeting on Friday. Don't just go home. All right, and I think I can ask for a motion to adjourn. All right, a second. Yay, we're adjourned. Right?